Welcome folks, it's Admiral Revan here, hope you're all doing well, and today we're doing a bit of warship review for you. This is the Admiral Schroder. This dockyard ship, a tier 9 German cruiser, which is very handy. It's very nice actually, it's good looking and everything. Wargaming has done a fantastic job with the paint job on this vessel. And as you can see, that every inch of level detail from the crew, the command deck, the secondaries, anti-aircraft guns, main guns, everything, the full detail of this warship, even the life rafts as well as other things on this deck of this warship is actually spectacular. And this warship has twin battery guns for both the front and the rear of the warship. These guns do look familiar to, well, more or less like the F de Grosse, the Bismarck Tirpitz, even the Pression. It's like the little baby version of it. So you got two guns in the back, two guns in the front, with, well, 305mm guns. The damage on this thing is actually pretty impressive, with 8300 damage, and it looks pretty impressive all around with a maximum damage of 3400 for HE. You can spec this warship to advantage to whatever you see fit, and it's actually nice to have all around. One thing I like about this ship is that the concealment on this thing is actually fairly decent by stock standard, with 12.6 for sea, 10 kilometers to depths, 10 kilometers for air, 2 kilometers for assured detectability range as well too. Maneuverability on this ship is actually fairly decent. It's got like a nice 32.5 knot warship. Radar shift is actually at 13.6, but just by looking at it, the AA defense on this ship is actually fairly decent as well, with 6 kilometers. One thing that you need to be made aware of, that even though you got a decent amount of hit points with nearly 60,000 hit points, the torpedo protection damage is actually at 22%, just letting everyone know. The ship itself has some decent like a Citadel. It's actually located in the middle, and it's actually pretty decent. This ship can take a bit of a beating, but honestly, with 27mm for both the front and the rear of the ship, as well as the side plating for 90mm to 190, is actually fairly interesting. If you look at the Citadel area, 100mm, but honestly, battleships will have a field day on this thing, as well as some cruiser players. Well, with that being said though, I have put a 21 point commander in it and actually made some tweaking on improving the defenses on this ship, which is actually fairly nice, but I will go and explain in detail of why I've chose it. What I was looking at very carefully is that I know that last stand is fairly decent. Gun feeder is a nice thing to have with a negative 40% buff on that thing, and for switching different type of shells. Transfer speed is always nice to have, so definitely take it into consideration if you wish. Now, demolition expert as well as consumable enhancements is nice to have. Definitely look at it closely if you're how you're going to spec this warship though, and actually play it by ear. The one thing that it comes down to, if you want to spec this cruiser into a HE build, go with a HE heavy, a HE and SAP shell count on the tech tree, for the commanders that is. However, Adrenaline Rush and also Super AP shells is what I went with this thing, because it's got some decent firepower on this thing. The next thing I went for is actually top grade gunner, as well as outnumbered and concealment. Concealment makes sense. I mean, like, as you can see, the concealment has increased to 58, which is actually pretty nice all around. But wait for it, I mean, like, we haven't put in the modules yet though. So let's go to the equipment. Main armor is what you need for the first one. The second one can be injury protection or damage control party. Main battery modification 2 is what I went with, as well as this one here is very different and very tricky. You can actually look at the idea of improving the propulsion for it to move, or looking at the idea of better steering, and also the better idea for heals and that sort of thing. So gone with damage control system. Concealment system 2 is actually very nice. We looked at the idea of the ship consumables and the steering, and it's actually nice to have as well, but not a must-have. But keep an eye on it for that option and possibility. Last but not least is the increase in the gun range from 18.4 to 20 something, and it is fairly decent all around. 20.6. Yep, looking good. Okay, got a equipment. Make sure the flags are enhanced. Notice that the maneuverability has improved. And then we'll take the ship out for a spin. Okay. Decided to take the ship out for a bit of a spin in this video. So the Admiral Schroder for a German cruiser has a decent fair length or range. With no torpedoes available for defense or attacking, you're always going to be relying on your guns. So I'm thinking about this ship in particular as like a mini battleship. More like a pocket battleship, I think. Just by thinking about it anyway. So you got 20.6, which is 21 kilometer range guns thereabouts, okay? And secondary batteries is 8.3, which is pretty awesome. So we're gonna see how this pans out in this battlefield. Alright, so as you can see, the turning time and reaction in this thing is a little bit, you know, like long, but it's not too bad. It's pretty receptive though. So we're gonna see how this pans out in a moment though, because as you can see, when you zoom on a target at long range, you got a fair decent range on this thing. I wouldn't fire my guns too soon when I'm at long range like this, unless that you have some teammates behind you. Now, as I can see, my teammates are near me. Honestly, they're not anywhere near for me a bit to be in a good position to start firing my guns with guns blazing. I need that extra fire support. However, as you can see here, the air gears are right in the distance, looking nice. Got AP shells loaded. Taking the fire salvo shells. And wow, that's actually not bad. Well, looks like we've got some shells incoming, so it's time to kite and run. But wait for it, did you just notice that on the bottom we got like hydroacoustics and an engine boost? Engine boost on a German cruiser is actually fun to have. Now, let's just see how this pans out for us. Because the air gear doesn't know that I'm coming around the corner over here. When I was last spotted, they do know I had fired my guns, and I'm running like hell right now. As you can see, I slid into 1/4 with the ship and trying to get a better angle positioning or aiming at long range. Since I'm not going to get anything like that right now, it's best that I start turning around and get back into the fight. So that's actually not too bad. Alright. So I'm taking it easy to get around the corner here. As you can see, I'm slowing down to make sure I'm in a good position. The enemy is definitely in range, and I can see the Hawk coming around the corner. And wait for it. I can see my teammate. The A gear is like literally right there. And I'm gonna take a bit of a gamble shot. And would have been a good hit on that thing, but my teammate killed him first, and that's awesome though. Just see how this goes here. We're focusing fire on this Hawk. He's slowly moving around the corner. He's moving, he's motoring. And he's showing his broadside. You fire the right moment, and hopefully your shells will penetrate the top deck or the side deck of the Hawk. But notice that the Hawk has re-healed himself. So definitely that the Schroder can do a pack a punch, but you know, you gotta take it, you know, what you can be given here. And shells have gone again. See that 4 penetrations on that time? Pretty decent hits on this thing. As you can wait and see how this pans out, it's actually a very good warship. Now, the biggest thing that I can see with my warship though is that notice that your hydroacoustics, the detection range is 4 kilometers for torps and 6 kilometers for ships. So that's all well and good, but it's not too bad though. And just by looking at it, it's not too bad for the reload time and everything. Alright, so I got an engine boost, which is fairly decent. So I'm gonna go ahead and punch in the engine boost. And I'm gonna see if I'm gonna rush in here and take the cap. Alright. Okay. Looking good. As I'm approaching towards the cap here, I just casually get myself ready to fire up hydroacoustics and make myself ready to detect the ship, and haha, surprise. As you can see, 4 overpens. You can manually, you know, select your secondaries and focus fire on the Udaloy. The Udaloy is getting smashed here. As you can see here, torps are coming in. I'm starting to outmaneuver those easily at ease. And there you go. But I decided to cop at least 1 torpedo. And I'm still moving the position. But that was actually not bad. Wait a minute, there's a Monarch right in the distance. And as you can see, he just tried to hit me. He did a little bit, but his shells bounced off from me. So that's actually pretty awesome. Oh, there's also the Malta Tier 10 aircraft carrier on long range. Your guns are pretty decent, so you should be able to penetrate anything like that at long range. Oh. Secondaries are engaged in the Monarch already. As you can see, the Zuma decided to have a go at me. With some HE spamming coming from the Monarch. Zuma is trying to have a go at me, Still moving in. Actually, not bad. Not bad at all. But look at those shells though. Fairly decent. But yeah, the ship itself can take a bit of a punch. But in all seriousness though, it is meant for an escort ship rather than an aggressive ship, but you can play aggressively and do quite well with that engine boost, and it's very handy. With hydroacoustics made available, it is also pretty decent. So here's my initial thoughts and conclusion about this ship. One thing about the ship, it's good. Very interesting with an engine boost. So, I mean, like, when you look at the engine boost, the idea of it and everything, it's actually a little bit different to what I was used to. As you can tell, there's engine boost. Also, repair party, hydroacoustics. Hydroacoustics is fairly standard for cruisers and battleships for the Germans. But for heal, for a German cruiser, it's pretty nice to have. Repair is unlimited, so you can stop, you know, like from the fires and flooding on a consistent basis. Engine boost is nice to have for either doing a Leroy Jenkins attack with your teammates, teaming up with another fast battleship or cruiser, which is very handy to have in div-mate action. Another thing that I think about having the Schroder is that this ship is good for kiting and run away from the enemy as well too. But the trouble with this ship though is that ASW, for the anti-submarine warfare, you have to fly over the submarines yourself and actually do the action yourself with the ship. In terms of the maneuverability of this warship, it is a bit slow. So even if you have improved the steering and everything, it seems to be okay, a little bit better. But look, I recommend two things when you take this ship into action before you do. Is to really experiment it in co-op mode about what you can do and can't do with this vessel, and really decide what kind of gameplay would you be using this more often. Me personally, I find that maybe escorting other battleships, being a support mechanism warship, is a better gameplay for this. You can be very aggressive, as I said before, but the only way to do it is actually team up with somebody and don't do it on your own. But overall though, this warship is actually fairly decent. Is it worthwhile getting? Well, alright. Looking at dockyard, I will be honest with you, when I looked at this dockyard, there is 30 stages that you need to go through. The rewards are actually fairly decent, okay? The rewards are fairly decent. At stage 19, you can get the Renown 44 if you wish. But you do get it anyway when you complete it. But you get some decent amounts of, you know, rewards, like for the Research Bureau, steel, the other containers, which is actually fairly nice. And as you can see here, that this is, you know, what is available to you for the starter pack. So that's like 15,000 for the balloons, and the remaining phases are 1,750 each. So in hindsight of this, I am thinking that if you have done 15 stages exactly, and it's 1,750 for the amount, you're spending around about like 26,250 doubloons in total from there, from start to finish. So with 30 phases of this whole thing, if you were to do it from start to finish, it's about 52,500. So you do save a bucket load of money if you do the starter packs and you actually find yourself enjoying it much with the rewards. But yeah, you can enjoy the cinematics and watching it, you know, being put together, and actually it's very nice. So you got 49 days to the end of January 2023 to do it. But yes, it's actually pretty awesome though, just pretty awesome. Alright folks, with everything being said here, that is the German T9 cruiser Schroder. I don't know about you, but I think it's worthwhile getting. Definitely a nice ship to have in your port. So, folks, have a good Christmas, have a good Happy New Year everybody, but definitely stay safe and take care, and we shall see you on the next warship review. If you like my social media links, go for it and follow it. I do stream on Twitch, and also sometimes I stream on YouTube, but at the same time you can keep in touch with me on Facebook as well as YouTube, and well, definitely keep in touch. But if you want to be part of the Discord, definitely type !Discord on my channel, and then you actually will see more info on how to join in and check it out. But anyways, in the meantime, stay safe, take care, have a good Christmas everybody.